ဝါဒီလားမှန်ပါသူတို့ဆိုတာ
ဆိုတာပါသူတို့စာရွက်လည်းရှိတယ်ဟုတ်
နဝံကုပောစရာစီလာ 9 precepts Nhịတရားဟောပြီးမှဦးမြတ်စွာဘုရားမှာပါလား
မှန်ပါဗျာ
So appreciate you. Today is the 21st June 2016. We start our Vipassana meditation retreat today. First of all, we have to understand the three kinds of training. Sila, Sikha, training in Sila. Samadhi, Sikha, training in concentration. Panya Sikha, training in insight and enlightenment. Out of these three kinds of training, Sila Sikha is the basic requirement for meditators. Sila here means morality, moral conduct. If a meditator wants to start his meditation, he has to observe Sila, morality, so that he can purify his deed and speech. As you know, we have three kinds of action. Physical action, verbal action, and mental action. We call it Kam, Tomba, and Nyama. Tổng is a three, Kam is action. Three kinds of action. All of these three kinds of action must be purified so that we can realize the true nature of bodily and mental phenomena as they really are. Out of these three kinds of training in Sila is the basic requirement for those who want to get rid of suffering. To purify one's deed and speech, one has to observe precepts, Sila, moral precepts, 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 9 precepts, 10 precepts, and 227 rules of Vinaya as a precepts of a bhikkhu, Buddhist monk. When we observe the 5 precepts, we have to abstain from killing, taking what they're not giving, from sexual misconduct, from telling lies, and from using any kind of intoxicant. Panatipata, adinadana, kamesumechachara, musawara, sura, miriya, majapama, tatana. 5 precepts. At least we have to observe 5 precepts so that we can purify our deed and speech. As you know, out of the 5 precepts, the first one, abstention from killing. Then, to observe this precept, we have to refrain from killing any living beings. That's physical action. Kaya kama, we call it in Pali. Then the second one, abstention from taking what is not giving. To purify our physical action, kaya kama, we also have to refrain from taking what's not giving. Then the third one is abstention from sexual misconduct. To purify our physical action, karma, deed, we have to observe this precept also to refrain from sexual misconduct. Then, when we abstain from killing, taking what is not given, and abstention from sexual misconduct, then by means of these 3 precepts, we purify our deed of physical action, kaya kama. And also the 5th one, sura, meriya, majapama, tatana, viramani, sekabran, smaradhyami. Abstention from any kind of intoxicant. If we observe this, the 5th precept, abstention from any kind of intoxicant, then we purify our deed, physical action. Out of 5 precepts, the first, the second, the third, and the 5th one enable us to purify our deeds, physical action. Then the 4th one, musawada, viramani, sekabran, samadhyami, abstention from telling lies. If we observe this 4th precept, abstention from telling lies, we purify our verbal actions, vajikama. So, when we observe at least 5 precepts, 4 kinds of precepts are enabled to purify our deed or physical action. The 4th one, musawada, is enabled us to purify our verbal action, vajikama. In the same way, any kinds of a precept, such as 8 precepts, 9 precepts, and so on, are also enable our deed and speech if we observe them fully. That's why we have to take this Sila Saika training and Sila as a base for our meditation practice. Now, you observe the 9 precepts better than the 5 precepts. If you observe the 9 precepts fully, then your deed and speech are purified by this 9 precepts. Based on purification of deed and speech, sila or morality, we have to practice our meditation, either samatha meditation or vipassana meditation. But now you have to practice vipassana meditation based on your purification of sila morality by observing the 9 precepts. So when you purified your deed and speech, physical actions and verbal action, by means of a 9 precept, you feel happy when you are thinking about when you happen to think about your deed and speech, because your deed and speech are purified. So you feel happy, peaceful, tranquil. Then your mind is ready to concentrate any object of meditation, either the object of samatha meditation or vipassana meditation, because your deed and speech purified. Purificate, this is called sila visuddhi, as you know. Sila visuddhi, visuddhi is purification. Sila is a morality, purification of a morality. When we feel your morality is quite purified, you are happy, peaceful, tranquil. So your mind is ready to concentrate on any object of meditation. When you practice samatha meditation, the mind is ready to concentrate on the object of samatha meditation. When you practice vipassana meditation, your mind is ready to concentrate your mind on any mental or physical phenomenon which are the object of Vipassana meditation. When the mind is concentrated on the object of a meditation, then it's purified from defilement or mental hindrances. That the mind is purified. Then it is called purification of a mind, citta visuddhi. Citta visuddhi. Purification of deed and speech enable a meditator to purify his mind to a certain extent. So when the mind is purified, there is no mental defilement in the mind. Then the mind, because the mind is purified, the insight knowledge that arises in this purified mind become penetrating and sharp, so that it can realize the true nature of mental and physical phenomena, which are the object of Vipassana meditation. That is called Vipassana jnana. So, Vipassana jnana can be attained by means of purification of a mind. By means purification of a mind can be attained by the cause of purification, purifying the deed and speech. That's why sila visuddhi, purification of a deed and speech, is the basic requirement for a meditator to attain purification of a mind, citta visuddhi, and by there ditthi visuddhi, purification of a view, by realizing the true nature of a mental and physical phenomena. As now you have observed, you 9 precepts, you have taken up 9 precepts to observe it fully. Then, now you are going to practice Vipassana meditation. This Vipassana meditation is of 2 types. One is Samatha Bhavangama Vipassana. The other is Suddha Vipassana. Yes, first of all, you have to rightly understand the meaning of the word Vipassana. The word Vipassana is a compound word. Vi is one word, and Vipassana is another word. Vi refers to impermanent suffering and impersonal nature of mental and physical phenomena. In Pali, it refers to anicca, dukkha, and anatta of mental and physical phenomena. Vipassana means realization or right understanding. When the 2 words are compounded, the word Vipassana means realization or right understanding of anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, suffering or unsatisfactoriness, and impersonal nature, anicca, dukkha, anatta. when you want to realize anicca, dukkha, anatta, you have to be mindful of whatever arises in your body and mind. Because every nama, mental state, every rupa, physical phenomena has these three characteristics. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Whatever nama it may be, nama, mental state may be, it arises and then it very instantly passes away. So it's impermanent. Because it's impermanent, it's unsatisfactory or it's suffering. Because it's impermanent and unsatisfactory, it's neither a person nor a being, neither everlasting entity, because they arise and pass away. To realize these three characteristics of existence, or three characteristics of mental and physical phenomena, you have to be mindful of whatever arises in your body and mind as it really occurs. To realize these three characteristics, or the true nature of mental and physical phenomena, you need to some degree of a deep concentration of a mind. Only the mind is deeply concentrated on any object of a mental state or physical phenomena. Then you are able to realize the true nature of a mental and physical phenomena. To obtain some degree of a deep concentration, you need to purify your deed and speech, your morality. Only if your morality, deed and speech are purified, then you are able to concentrate your mind on any object of meditation. When you are able to deeply concentrate your mind on any object of meditation, say the mental or physical phenomena, then you are able to realize these three characteristics: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness or suffering, and impersonal nature, no soul, no separate nature. When you realize these three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, and anatta of mental and physical phenomena, that's called Vipassana jnana. When you have attained this Vipassana jnana, insight knowledge one after another, until you have attained complete, you had obtained all 13 stages of insight knowledge of Vipassana jnana, then you attained enlightenment, magga jnana and phala jnana. When you have attained enlightenment, magga jnana and phala jnana, then these two kinds of jnana, especially Maganyana path knowledge, uproots all mental defilement, which are the causes of all kinds of suffering. When this mental defilement has been uprooted, exterminated by path knowledge, then there's no suffering at all, because all kinds of suffering are caused by mental defilement. Mental defilements are the cause of suffering. So when these mental defilements, kilesas, has been uprooted by path knowledge, then there's no cause. Because there's no cause, there's no effect at all, no suffering. Then you attain the cessation of suffering. It's called Nirodha Satya Nibbana. That is the goal of your Vipassana meditation. Then I tell you, this Vipassana meditation, insight meditation, is two types. One is Samatha Bhupangama Vipassana, the other is pure Vipassana, pure insight meditation. Samatha Bhupangama Vipassana means the Vipassana preceded by Samatha meditation. As you know, Samatha meditation is practiced to attain deep concentration of a mind, such as jhana or absorption concentration. It's called Samatha Bhupangama Vipassana, insight meditation preceded by Samatha meditation, concentration meditation. Then another type of Vipassana is Suddha Vipassana, pure insight meditation. Pure insight meditation is insight meditation, not preceded by Samatha meditation. So when you practice Samatha meditation, first of all, to attain some degree of concentration as a base, then after you have attained some degree of concentration, you practice Vipassana meditation by observing whatever arises in your body and mind as it is. That is Samatha Bhupangama meditation. Insight meditation, not insight meditation preceded Samatha meditation, concentration meditation. Then another type, as I told you, is the insight meditation, not preceded by Samatha meditation, pure Suddha Vipassana meditation. So you does not practice Samatha meditation so that you can attain some degree of concentration as a base. But you practice Vipassana directly, right way. You practice Vipassana by being mindful of whatever arises in your body and mind as it really occurs, by noting whatever arises. For example, when the abdomen moves forward, then you observe it as it is, making mental note as rising, when the abdominal movement, the movement falls back, then you note it as falling, observing the falling movement of the abdomen, making mental note as a falling. In this way, you directly goes to Vipassana without practicing concentration meditation, samatha meditation before. That is Sutta Vipassana. By being mindful of whatever arises in your body and mind, your mind gradually becomes concentrated deeper and deeper. Then when you attain some degree of deconcentration by means of mindfulness meditation, that concentration is also called Citta Visuddhi, purification of the mind. Because when you have attained by means of attains some degree of concentration by means of mindfulness and meditation, then the mind, which is concentrated on the object of mental or physical phenomena, has been purified by concentration. So when the mind becomes concentrated to a certain extent, there's no mental defilement in it. There's no mental hindrance in it. It's the mind is purified. Then it's ready to realize the true nature of mental and physical phenomena. That kind of concentration is called Khanika Samadhi, momentary concentration, because the mind is momentarily concentrated on any object of meditation, any object of mental and physical phenomena, because the object arises and then you note it, then the mind is concentrated on it. Then the object passes away. In this way, the mind is momentarily concentrated on any mental or physical phenomena which arises momentarily. But when the momentary concentration becomes continuous, constant and sustained, it becomes powerful, so that it can purify the mind from defilement. So it's also called purification of the mind, Citta Visuddhi, by means of Vipassana meditation. Now you are going to practice this kind of meditation, purification, pure insight meditation, Sutta Vipassana. But I usually teach our meditators, before he starts to Vipassana meditate, to practice Vipassana meditation, to practice Metta Bhavana, Metta meditation, say about 10 or 15 minutes before Vipassana. Practice Metta meditation. Metta meditation is easy, not difficult. So before he starts to practice Vipassana, I teach meditators, metta meditation, briefly. The meditator, here metta means the mental state which wishes the welfare of all living beings. A mental state which wishes all welfare of all living beings is called metta. In another word, a mental state which wishes all living beings free from all kinds of suffering. That mental state is called metta. So to develop this metta, the wish of all peace and happiness of mentality, or peace and happiness of all being. To develop this metta, this mentality, you have to focus on all living beings. Then you say mentally, may all beings happy and peaceful. May all beings be happy and peaceful. May all beings happy and peaceful. That metta sentence causes your mind to feel, to wish all living beings happy and peace and happiness. In this way, this metta gradually is developed, and you, by repeatedly thinking about the all living beings, happy, peace and happiness, saying metta sentences, may all beings be happy, peaceful. May all beings be happy and peaceful. When the mind wanders, you take the mind back and put it to all beings and say, may all beings be happy and peaceful. In this way, gradually, you feel that metta, mental state, wishing all being peace and happiness. That is metta bhavana. Then in this way, you practice metta bhavana, metta meditation about 10, 15 or 20 minutes before Vipassana. Then later on, when you are skilled in development of metta, then you feel happy, peaceful, concentrate, and tranquil to a certain extent before you start Vipassana meditation. Then I say about 10 or 15 or 20 minutes metta meditation, then you start to practice Vipassana as you do. Being mindful of the rise and fall of a deep domain, rising movement and falling movement of a deep domain, mentally saying, rising, falling. This mentally saying is not neither Vipassana nor Samatha, but it helps the mind to concentrate deeply on the object of meditation. That's why we have to use it. It's called Tajya Panyati in Pali, And in Buddhist scripture, Tajapanyati. Tajapanyati means the language which is suitable for the object, which is suitable for the absolute reality. Because when we say rising, falling, being aware of rising movement and falling movement. These rising movement and falling movements are vayodhatu, one or element, which is absolute reality, paramatha. So when we say rising, when the predominant movement rises, the what language rising is suitable to the object of rising movement. When we observe a falling movement, we say falling because that language falling is suitable for the movement of a falling. So that's why it's called Tajapanyati in Pali, but we say mental saying. This mental saying is neither Vipassana nor Samatha. It's called Panyati concept, but it helps the mind to deeply focus on the object of meditation. So we have to use it. When we have attained the higher stages of insight knowledge, such as Sankhara-Upakhanyana and so on, then we can drop the mental saying. We should drop the mental saying because at that moment the mind is by itself concentrated on the object very deeply. That's why Tajapanyati need not help the mind to deeply concentrate on the object. At that moment, at that aspect of jnana, you drops this Tajapanyati mental saying. But before that, when we attain the lower stage of insight, that is Nama Rupa Pariksheda Patya Parikshaya Jnana and so on, we need to use this Tajapanyati mental saying to have a deep concentration of the mind, to attentively concentrate on the object of meditation. That's why we have to use this Tajapanyati mental saying. So, but when you realize Tajapanyati mental saying is neither Samatha nor Vipassana. What is Vipassana means realization of mental phenomena and physical phenomena, which are paramatha, absolute reality. Absolute reality. So, though we use this mental saying, we need not lay stress on it. What we should do is to try to thoroughly realize the object, that's a mental state or physical process, which are absolute reality. So in this way, while we are sitting, observing the rising and falling movement of a deep domain, same mental state, rising, falling, But when we are walking, the mind must be focused on the movement of the foot. When the foot lifted, the foot is lifted, then the mind should be mindful of the movement of lifting foot. When we drop the foot, dropping movement of the foot must be observed, must be mindful of as it is. But at that time also, we use lifting, pushing, dropping, lifting, pushing, dropping, mentally say. But what we need to is to realize the movement of the foot. That is a vayota, to element, to realize it. But we have to use Tajya Panyati, mental saying, as a helper to help the mind attentively concentrated on the object of meditation. Then you are not new meditators, as experienced meditators. What I want to tell you is the most important of this meditation is to notice or to observe thoughts, whatever thought it may be, good thought or bad thought. When it arises, it must be observed, it must be mindful of, making mental note, thinking, wondering, thinking, wondering, and so on, until that thought has disappeared. Because meditators sometimes does not note or does not observe thoughts when thought arises, because they think they are not thinking about something. Their minds are on the movement of the abdomen, rising and falling movement. But actually, the mind is wandering or thinking about something else. As soon as you know your mind goes astray, your mind wanders, you should note that mind wandering, mind thinking, mind noting as wandering, thinking, attentively, somewhat quickly, so that your noting becomes more powerful than the thinking mind. Thinking, wondering. When the thinking stops, you need not note it. Your mind will come to rising and falling movement of the abdomen. When thoughts are not noted, they become longer and longer. They are noted, they become short. Later on, thoughts becomes less and less, and the mind becomes more and more concentrated on the object of meditation. Then the second important thing is to be mindful of all daily activities, such as bending of the arms, rising, stretching of the arms, getting up, sitting down. Whatever actions or movement you do must be observed as it really is. That is the awareness of all daily activity. In Pali, it's called Sammajanya. And Mahasatipatthana Sutra, the Buddha teaches us this Sammajanya as a separate chapter because it's very much important. So, this is very, very much important to observe all actions and movement in the daily activity so that your mindfulness becomes continuous and constant. When the mindfulness becomes continuous and constant, then it concentrated very quickly. So, continuous mindfulness is the cause. Deep concentration is the effect. Deep concentration is the effect. Realization of the true nature is effect. Then, to have a continuous mindfulness, you need to observe all actions and movement, daily activity without failure. To be able to observe all these actions and movement, you have to slow down all actions and movement. Without slowing down of the action and movement, your mind unable to observe it. So you have to intentionally slow down all actions and movement, sitting down, bowing down, lifting the head, the hand, and so on, slowly and slowly. It's somewhat difficult for a beginner to slow down it, but practice makes perfect. He persistently practices, being aware of these mental actions and movement, and it's easy for him or her to observe whatever action or movement arises. This is the second important factor in this meditation. I think it's enough for you. Now, the remaining factors will be explained by Umyatma. May all of you be able to practice Vipassana meditation with strenuous effort and attain the goal of your goal, Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Mm-hmm.